Well. We are already, we're just a few days removed from the NFL draft. Well, yeah, almost a week removed actually by now. And fans are already like so high on this team. We're going to talk about that in this podcast. And welcome back to the podcast. My name is Greg Sykes. I am your host here at the Washington Football Maniacs, and this channel, of course, is dedicated to news and commentary for the Washington Commanders. If you're down with that, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. When you do, also hit that notification bell. Also, look into becoming maybe channel members to support this channel. And as well, visit our partners, Mint Mobile, who can save you a lot of money on your wireless cell phone bill. So, hey, Washington Commanders fans, let's pump our brakes just a little bit because I realize that right now a lot of us are really high, coming off of what most of us feel like was a decent, anywhere from a decent to an extraordinary draft, depending on how much Kool-Aid you have been drinking. And, I'm already starting to see posts out there in social media land that are saying, I think this team can make the playoffs. Now, let's pump the brakes, okay? Because this team, I think, has got a ways to go. We're going to bring in some players. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe that this team already is going to be able to be built. They've already been built to compete, right? You're not going to see very many games in terms of, oh man, this team was completely just outplayed. Now, you may see some games like that, who knows, but I believe that this team has been built in order to compete with every single team that they're going to go up against this season. I think they're going to play hard. I think they're going to play violently, especially the defense. And I think you're going to see a team that is going to be very exciting to watch. But I don't think necessarily you're going to see a team that's going to be able to make the playoffs right away. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, I could be wrong. And this is one of the times when I hope I am completely wrong. But I believe that this team still needs some pieces. And I believe that some of the pieces that we did fill is on a short-term basis. So we still need the long-term solutions to those positions. Players that we know are going to be the best players available in the upcoming drafts for those positions. And I'm talking about linebacker, who eventually replaces Bobby Wagner, who eventually replaces safeties, guys that we have picked up in free agency who are going to be tremendous players, but they may not necessarily be here for very long. Austin Eckler. I know that we have Brian Robinson Jr. and we also have Chris Rodriguez. But we want the best player available. We want to be able to have that freedom of being able to go into the draft and just pick the best player. Does not matter if we have that position or not, because this is how that you build a team that consistently wins here on out. And so I think we're still at the very beginning stages of that. I think what Adam Peters was doing is bringing in players during free agency to establish the foundation. It's kind of like bringing in the pillars or whatever. It's like you got to establish the foundation of the house first. And then you can slowly start building up the framework. The first draft that they have, they're trying to build up the framework, trying to get the best players available while addressing some need. And then as they continue on, they will look in free agency for, those players that, wow, I can't believe this player is available. We're going to grab this player up. But for the most part, they're going to continue to build through the draft. And this is the right way to do it. But as far as the 2024 season, this is what I would expect. And this is what I feel like for you fans, this is what you probably should expect out of the 2024 season. I think that you should expect a team that's going to come in, play tough. They're going to play hard. There are not going to be very many games, if any, where they're just completely blown out. And I think you're going to see a team that halfway through the season starts to gel, starts to really get it. And then they're going to be very tough toward the end of the season. Maybe they start on a good win streak toward the end of the season. But I think that if this team is able to win more than 7 games, then that is gravy. That is just excellent stuff for the Washington Commanders, because that means that yes, they've increased their, they've gotten better from last year. But 2, it's all about the improvement. It's all about the journey, and they just started this journey. So for those who are already, jumping into the idea of this team can make the playoffs because of Jayden Daniels, let's pump our brakes, because Jayden Daniels is a rookie. Yes, he was drafted 2nd overall, but guess what? He's still rookie. So give him an opportunity to develop, because here, and probably across the entire NFL, but here specifically with this team, we tend to be in such a hurry that we don't want any of these players to be developed. We feel like they should be ready to win a Super Bowl coming straight out of the draft. And we may not verbalize that, but in our heads, we're thinking that. No matter, we don't verbalize it because it sounds kind of stupid, but we think it, and we go back and we look at other players, same how. Yes, he was a 5th round pick. I realize it's not apples to apples, but we basically gave him 1 year, and that was it. And I think that you need to be able to give these players a little bit of leadway, give them time to develop, get them time to get their feet under themselves, get themselves acclimated to the NFL level, and then expect. Maybe by year 2, you feel like they should be able to take the next step. They should be able to win 9 to 10 games that 2nd year. Because at that point, you're going to go through another free agency, another draft. You're able to start really, truly picking best player available. Hopefully, you don't have as many holes that you need to look at. So you really start to be able to start putting the paint on the car at that point. You've already built the engine. Transmission's good. You've worked out all the kinks on the body. Now you're ready to paint it. So now you're ready to start making the team look good, bringing in best players, more opportunities to have Pro Bowl type of players at every position. That's what the 49ers did. And, of course, that's what you would expect the Commanders to do under Adam Peters. So I would pump my brakes on this year. I wouldn't expect much. And, hey, if it winds up being 4 or 5 games, guess what? It's probably going to wind up feeling different than what it did last year. Like last year, you could tell the train was off the tracks. You could tell that things were headed toward an end for the coaching staff. But this year, I think 4 or 5 wins will feel differently. You'll be like, you know what, there's some growing pains, but we saw a lot of good things out of this team. And then they improved down the stretch. So we got something to look forward to with this team. I think if we keep ourselves in that mind frame, then we're going to still remain pretty excited about the future for this team. So that saying, let's pump our brakes. Let's just sit back and enjoy the ride, the journey. And then once they finally get to a Super Bowl win, you can look back and be like, this is the pinnacle of excitement and celebration. But think about the journey that we as fans got to sit back and witness from start to finish to this team and appreciate the whole journey. And I think that you will see the game in a different set of eyes. Folks, if you enjoyed this podcast, please give it a like, give it a share. Let me know in the comments what you think. As always, appreciate all of the support that you guys give the Washington Football Maniacs and those who continue to watch even during the off season when there's not much going on. We'll try to continue to bring you good quality content. And with that said, I will see you in the next one.